They left their homes expecting to return before nightfall. Some were last seen waving goodbye to friends, others stepping off a train, and a few simply vanished during an ordinary walk home. No goodbyes, no trace, no explanation. In the deepest corners of history and the coldest files of law enforcement, some disappearances remain untouched by time, haunting families, detectives, and whole communities. Tonight, on Chilling Mysteries, we uncover the most perplexing cold cases where people vanished without a trace, and where, to this day, no one can say for certain what happened. It's a stormy night in 1923. A mother tucks her children into bed in a modest home on the outskirts of Cripple Creek, Colorado. A once booming mining town now emptying out as quickly as it filled up. She steps out into the darkness to fetch water from the well. Minutes pass. Her husband calls her name. Silence answers back. The children grow restless. The search begins, but the mother is gone, and not a single footprint remains in the muddy ground. Over the next decade, more disappearances follow. A prospector vanishes from his cabin, his dinner still warm on the table. A schoolteacher never arrives at class. Each case is investigated. Rumors swirl of foul play and ghostly apparitions, but the truth is always out of reach. What is it about these cases that makes them so chilling? It's not just the lack of answers, it's the feeling that someone, somewhere, knows the truth. And as the years turn to decades, the ghosts of these unsolved cases linger, refusing to let go. Let's start with one of the most infamous disappearances in Cripple Creek's history, the case of young Clara Simmons. In April of 1926, Clara, just 14 years old, was last seen leaving her job at the post office. Her route home took her along a well-trodden path through the center of town. When she failed to return, a search party scoured the area. Her shoes were found neatly placed beside a stream, but there was no sign of Clara herself. Some whispered she'd run away. Others believed she was taken. The local sheriff, haunted by the case until his death, was convinced that Clara had been abducted by someone she trusted, someone who knew the rhythms of everyday life in this isolated community. Years later, in the dusty archives of the county courthouse, a letter was found. It was addressed to Clara's mother and postmarked from a Denver address. "Please don't worry," it read. "I'm safe and happy. I'll come home soon." But handwriting experts concluded it was a forgery, likely written by someone trying to throw investigators off the trail. The letter only deepened the mystery. Clara Simmons' disappearance remains unsolved, her name etched in local memory as a symbol of innocence stolen and secrets kept. But Cripple Creek is just one chapter in a much larger book of American vanishings. Across the country, cases echo with similar patterns: ordinary people, ordinary days, sudden and total disappearance. In 1971, the college town of Ann Arbor, Michigan, was rocked by the disappearance of Robin Brooks, a promising sophomore studying biology. Robin was last seen leaving a campus library late at night, a backpack slung over one shoulder, humming to herself as she walked into the darkness. Her roommate reported her missing the next morning. Police found her bicycle chained up near the entrance, her books still stacked neatly inside. No signs of struggle, no witnesses, nothing. The investigation quickly hit a dead end. Robin's family traveled from their small hometown, pleading with the public for information. Theories ran wild. Was it a serial predator? Did Robin vanish on her own accord? Years later, a private investigator uncovered a strange connection. Two other young women had disappeared from nearby towns in eerily similar circumstances. Their cases, too, remain unsolved. To this day, Robin's parents keep her childhood bedroom untouched, hoping for the phone call that might finally bring them closure. Let's shift to the heat of the Nevada desert, where the story of the Vanishing Three still sends chills down the spines of locals. In July 1960, three friends set out for a camping trip near Pyramid Lake. They were experienced outdoorsmen, well prepared for the journey. The trio was last seen laughing around a campfire by a group of fishermen who set up nearby. The next morning, the campsite was deserted. Tents were pitched, gear was intact, but the men were gone. Not a single footprint led away from the area. A massive search effort involving hundreds of volunteers, dogs, and helicopters turned up nothing. For decades, rumors swirled in the local bars. Some blamed the unforgiving desert. Others pointed to organized crime. One theory even involved a secret military test gone wrong. But with no evidence, the case faded from headlines, becoming the stuff of local legend. Today, The case file sits in a locked cabinet in the Washoe County Sheriff's Office, a silent reminder of 3 lives lost to mystery. What binds these cases together? It's the absence of finality, the agony of not knowing. Families are left to wonder if their loved ones are dead or alive, victims or survivors. For law enforcement, these cold cases are a constant source of frustration. Each year, new technology offers hope: DNA testing, ground-penetrating radar, facial recognition software. But often, these advances only serve to underscore how little is truly known. Consider the case of Angela Hammond, a 20-year-old woman from Clinton, Missouri, who disappeared on a spring night in 1991. Angela was speaking to her fiancé on a payphone when she suddenly cried out, "Oh my God, he's still here," before the line went dead. Her fiancé rushed to the scene, only to see a suspicious truck speeding away. Despite tireless efforts, Angela was never found. The last words she spoke haunt her family and investigators alike. This is not just a story, it's a wound that never heals. Cold cases like these are not just statistics, they are human tragedies. Behind each file is a family searching for answers, a community grappling with fear and suspicion, a detective lying awake at night replaying every clue. The media often moves on, but those left behind cannot. Why do some cases remain unsolved while others are cracked decades later? Sometimes it's a matter of luck. A witness comes forward, a piece of evidence is misfiled and later discovered. More often, it's because the missing were taken by someone who knew exactly how to cover their tracks. In small towns, trust can be a weapon. In big cities, anonymity is a shield. Let's return to Cripple Creek, where the passage of time has done little to dull the pain of loss. In the 1930s, as the town's population dwindled and buildings fell into disrepair, more stories emerged of people who vanished without explanation. Some locals believe the town itself is cursed, a place where the earth swallows secrets and the mountains echo with unanswered cries for help. One such case is that of Samuel "Red" Jennings, a miner who struck gold and celebrated too loudly. Red was last seen at the local saloon, pockets heavy with his latest find. He left after midnight, promising to share his wealth with his closest friends. When he didn't show up the next morning, a search of his cabin revealed nothing but a hastily packed bag and a half-finished letter to his mother. Was Red the victim of greed and betrayal, or did he stage his own disappearance? The gold was never found, and neither was Red. In these cases, the line between fact and legend blurs. Over time, details are lost, witnesses pass away, and files gather dust. But sometimes, a fresh pair of eyes can make all the difference. Modern investigators occasionally revisit these cold cases, hoping that advances in forensic science or a new tip will break the silence. For example, in the case of the Vanishing 3, a team of cold case detectives recently re-examined the campsite using ground-penetrating radar and found what appeared to be disturbed soil. Yet, when they dug, they found nothing but rocks and animal bones. The mystery only deepens. Some of the most haunting cold cases involve children. The disappearance of the Beaumont children in Australia, the Sodder children in West Virginia, and the Springfield 3 in Missouri all share the same chilling pattern. Loved ones disappear, evidence is scant, and every theory only leads to more questions. In each case, investigators followed hundreds of leads, but none brought the answers families so desperately needed. Let's talk about the psychological toll these cases take. For families, the not knowing is often worse than grief. There's always a sliver of hope mixed with dread. Some hire private investigators, others consult psychics, and a few dedicate their entire lives to solving the mystery. For detectives, cold cases are a test of professional pride. They study old witness statements, follow up on tips that lead nowhere, and sometimes they become obsessed. In rare cases, the truth does emerge, sometimes decades later, when DNA evidence identifies a perpetrator or human remains are found. But for every solved case, dozens more remain open, silent reminders of lives interrupted and justice denied. What can be done to bring these cases to a close? One answer lies in the growing community of amateur sleuths, ordinary people who pore over public records, share theories online, and sometimes succeed where professionals have failed. In recent years, citizen detectives have helped crack cases like the Golden State Killer, proving that persistence and collective intelligence can make a difference. Another source of hope is technology. DNA databases, satellite imagery, and even social media have breathed new life into old investigations. Crowdsourcing has become a powerful tool, allowing thousands of eyes to examine evidence and spot patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. Law enforcement agencies are increasingly open to tips from the public, recognizing that the next big break might come from an unexpected source. Yet, for all the advances, some cases seem destined to remain mysteries. In the end, we are left with questions, echoes, and the chilling certainty that someone out there knows what happened. For every solved mystery, there are countless others that continue to haunt the living. As we close tonight's episode, remember, behind every cold case is a family waiting for answers. If you have information about any unresolved disappearance, no matter how small, consider reaching out to your local authorities. Your tip could be the missing piece of the puzzle. Thank you for joining us on Chilling Mysteries, where we shine a light on the darkest corners of unsolved true crime. If these stories gripped you as they did us, subscribe and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the world's most haunting mysteries. And if you have a theory about any of tonight's cases, let us know in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, the truth is out there, waiting to be found.